Either Uber's got bigger balls than I thought they did, or they must think we're just really, really stupid. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and today, every time I say Uber shouldn't surprise me, they somehow still manage to do so. This company abuses us to the 9th degree, the 10th degree, the 20th degree. They're going Super Saiyan power degree of they abuse us and they take advantage of us every step of the way. And yet, they have always done so, saying it's for the drivers. The drivers will thank us. When really, it's like, no. You're making these decisions because you want to help yourself. Cutting the rates? Well, that's because you want to make more money. It's not going to result in us making more money. It's not going to result in us getting more rides. There's no way we can get more rides if we tried. It's there so you can make more money. Cutting out the destination filter or taxing it? Hey, you know what? Too many people are using the destination filter, so we're going to cut the rates, or we're going to take it away completely because the passenger needs to be picked up faster. No. It's about making money. Although, from the last podcast I did when we did it live, and the podcast, by the way, is no longer up. I don't know why. YouTube has apparently just taken it down, and that's getting off topic. Well, people in the live stream were telling us that Uber actually is redistributing the funds. Most people got about $6.30 for not using the destination filter that week, which it's like, all right, great. It doesn't change the fact that Uber shouldn't be, pushing this socialist agenda on drivers. This isn't how it works. I mean, we talked about it in great detail on the podcast, which again, unfortunately is down. I don't know why it's down. And Mark and Dustin were in agreement with me that, they are pushing the line. Like, you can't reasonably claim we're independent contractors anymore. You just can't. It's not true. Don't fool yourselves into thinking it is true. And of course, then there's the whole Uber Eats thing where they are now going to calculate the distance and the time before the order is taken, and they will pay you that. And if it happens to take longer, or if you happen to take a slightly longer route, too bad. This was the most efficient time. This is the shortest time it should have taken. That's what you get. Well, and now Uber in Georgia wants you to write to their political system. I think it's their mayor or just people in the government. I don't know. On their behalf. Let's look at this. Tell your senator to change HB 276. Now, I am not in Georgia, so I don't know exactly what this is, but they're going to tell me what it is, and then they're going to ask for my help. Because of last-minute changes at the Georgia Capitol, HB 276 would force people in the state to pay the highest tax in the country on ride-sharing. Passing this bill would impose an 8.9% sales tax on rides in Atlanta and an average 7% sales tax on rides throughout the rest of Georgia, which will make trips significantly more expensive for riders and could lead to a decrease in driver earnings from fewer trips. Oh my gosh. They actually think we're stupid enough to fall for this. I'm going to finish this, but then we're obviously going to talk about what's wrong with this. We need your help. As your senator considers HB 276, my nose is itchy, sorry, it is critical that they hear from you about how this tax will hurt riders and drivers alike. Please email your senator by tapping below and urge them to support sensible changes to the bill that will keep ride sharing affordable. Oh, boo-hoo! Boo-hoo, Uber! I'm tired of hearing affordable. You know what? I'm sorry, but McDonald's is affordable and it didn't help me. It really didn't. You know what? The more expensive greens and natural fruits and organic foods, those are what helped me. The cheap processed stuff gave me type 2 diabetes, and only by getting on the natural, pure, good stuff that costs more money did I reverse it. Now, the whole point of that analogy is that, you know what? Just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's good for you. Low wages and low prices have been hurting drivers for years, and everyone knows it. Even the people who drive in Chicago who make $2,000 a week, they know it too. They don't want to admit it, but they know it. And here's the thing. Now, they're asking us to... Here's the thing. You want to know what this is really about? You want to know what this sales tax on rides will actually result in? You're not going to pay for it out of pocket, because they're not going to charge this to the driver unless they cut your rates again in response to this. At that point, I guess we're not friends, Uber. Because you know what? The passenger will pay this sales tax, not Uber, unless they want to eat it. Uber could, in theory, eat this sales tax. I know they won't, but they could, in theory, do that. And yet, my nose is itching so bad, folks. I am so sorry. I think I've got allergies, but I'm kind of fired up at the moment. You know what? Passengers will pay this, and yes, the rides will be more expensive. We will not be getting any of that money, but neither will Uber, because it goes to the government, and that's the point. You pay your taxes to cover essential costs of the city, the town, the state, the country. You pay taxes for all of these reasons, all of them. And the fact that rideshare is not taxed very high, it's not taxed very heavily, is a big, big problem for everyone involved. Uber just does not want to spend more money on that, because here's the thing, they kind of allude to the fact that if they charge this tax, the riders will pay more. Well, you know what? Let the riders pay more. Let them pay more. Everyone else does it. Heck, the Norm's restaurant, that's like 3 blocks from me, they actually have a California tax. I'm serious. You get their check and they charge like a 3% tax, an extra tax, just for doing business in the state of California, because California charges more in taxes, so they make you pay for it. And they do it in a way that tells you they're paying for it. Now, admittingly, it should be noted that when my mom sees something like this, she doesn't tip the waiter as much. So in that sense, yes, some people will take it out on the driver for the tips. I have to be honest about that. They probably will. People are just like that. But don't think Uber is doing this for your benefit. They're not. They are doing it because they just don't want to pay the money. They don't want to be taxed. So they are asking you, hey, buddies, this will make the significantly more expensive rides and can lead to a decrease in driver earnings from fewer trips. They should have said tips, because again, you cannot take less trips than you are currently doing, especially not in Chicago. So, my recommendation is everyone in Chicago, and I'm hearing rumblings that people in Chicago are very, very unhappy. Here's what I would do. I would press that email your senator button. I would. But here's the thing. I would identify myself as an Uber driver. And I would say, as an Uber driver, Uber is screwing us. They're screwing the passengers. They're screwing the city. They're screwing the state. And not only are you in support of this passing, but you think there should be more legislation against Uber for the almost criminal practices they impose on everyone. Seriously, click that email your senator button, tell them something along that line. Do it. That should show Uber for cutting your rates on 2 fronts. No, 3 fronts. Because keep in mind, Uber, the Uber who is writing this, who are saying like, we care about you. We don't want you to make less money because of this tax. Just cut your rates 3 different ways. On mileage, on Uber Eats, and on the destination filter. They cut your rates 3 times within 72 hours, more or less 3 days, and now they're saying, we really care about you. We want you to make more money. Join us in opposing it. No, Uber, if I had the choice, I would be writing to the senator and saying, I think 8.9% is too small. Really, you should be taxing them 20 when you really think about what it is they are doing to the economy. Now, you can write to your senator whatever you want, and maybe you'll want to write to your senator and actually agree with Uber. If that's the case, hey, you know what? Go ahead. That's why we have a democracy. You are allowed to let your voice be heard. I am not telling you what to do, except in this area. what I'm recommending is, if you agree with Uber, write to your senator and tell your congressman that you agree with Uber. If you disagree with Uber, though, if you are tired of being taken advantage of, and you know what, Uber has really got to learn. They've got to learn that, hey, you know what? We don't become friends on your dime. You treat us good all the time. You don't just get to treat us good when you need us. So if you feel like you're being used and abused by Uber, write to your senator and tell them so. And heck, there might even be a scenario where you can write to your senator, say you disagree with this tax, but you might want to let them know of the other ways Uber's screwing you and to maybe consider looking at that. Just an idea. But I'm never here to tell you who to vote for or what to vote for. Every time there's an election, you will not see me making videos telling you who to vote for. I want you to vote on your conscience, on your heart, on your spirit, whatever you agree. But in this case, I'm strongly recommending, you know, if you disagree with Uber, let your senator know. If you don't disagree with Uber, let your senator know. But if it were me, I would be telling my senator that this tax needs to happen, as well as a whole lot more. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe you disagree. I would love to know one way or the other. So comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channels run smoothly. And you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.